Hi Oprah and everyone at OWN. Oprah, recently you said that launching OWN was like climbing Kilimanjaro. You were probably more right than you realize. I'm just an ordinary guy who one day decided to follow my dream to climb the real Kilimanjaro. And so I put together a short video to tell you a little bit about what that was like and some of the lessons I learned along the way. I hope you enjoy it. Kilimanjaro is often referred to as the everyman's Everest. At 19,340 feet above sea level, it's hard to get to the summit. But it is possible for even a novice to make it. A coworker once told me that for her, climbing Kilimanjaro was a life-changing experience. I dreamed about it for years until one day, an amazing woman inspired me to follow my dream and go for it. We flew to Tanzania together, and there we met our guide, Mohammed. We met porters, Mick, Juma, and others, and we spent 5 days together hiking up the slopes of Kilimanjaro until we got to 15,000 feet. There at midnight, we set off for the summit, and that's when the dream went bad. At 18,000 feet above sea level, with only 40% oxygen that you and I are breathing right now, I collapsed from altitude sickness and had to turn back. Kilimanjaro taught me a great lesson that day that sometimes failure might be the best option, especially if you're willing to learn from that failure. And I learned a lot about myself that day and Kilimanjaro. The good news is that amazing woman, she agreed to marry me. And I learned afterwards a lot about mountaineering, and what it takes to get to the summit of a big mountain is 3 buckets. First is your physiology, how your body adapts to altitude. Unfortunately, mine doesn't adapt very well. Luckily, there's 2 other buckets, your physical strength and your mental strength. And that was the second big lesson that I learned from this experience. We all have limitations, and if we want to succeed, we have to be willing to acknowledge them and work to overcome them. And so I trained hard, went back to Kilimanjaro, and that time, I made it to the summit. Climbing Kilimanjaro for me was a life-changing experience, but it wasn't because I got to the top of the mountain. It was because of the people. It was because I climbed with men like Mohammed, Mick, Juma, Ali, Patrice, and all these other people. I'm a better man today, not because I climbed Mount Kilimanjaro, but because I climbed Mount Kilimanjaro with them. And that was the greatest lesson of all I learned from this experience. Sometimes it's more important to have an extraordinary experience than it is to do something extraordinary. Because it's not the height of the mountains that make the experience extraordinary, it's the depth to which those mountains change us. Thank you for joining me on the mountain, and good luck with your own Kilimanjaro.